Hello everybody, Ian, Starship Adventures, and today, something that's concerning coming out of Pennsylvania, especially for ham radio operators. Right now, the Pennsylvania Senate is considering Senate Bill 37. This is the Enhanced Driver Responsibility Bill. If this bill is passed, it would make it unlawful for you to use your amateur radio in your vehicle while you're driving in the state of Pennsylvania. And as you guys know, we've been doing that for many years, and it's one of the joys of ham radio and also one of the necessities of ham radio to be able to use it while you're driving. And originally this language had an exemption for ham radio. However, that exemption as of a few weeks ago has been removed. So without that exemption in there, then this would then also apply to amateur radio operators. You would not be allowed to use anything that requires your hands. So in other words, you could not hold a microphone for a two-way radio. And most ham equipment, as we know, doesn't have a hands-free option. Therefore, they're banning amateur radio as we know it on the roads in Pennsylvania. This has recently passed the House. It's been lingering around for a while up there, but it's finally passed the House and it's going into the Senate next week. And I'm going to put information and links in the description for you to tell the Pennsylvania Legislature what you think about this stupid bill. This is just another overreach of government. This is just another example of government trying to fix things. Let me tell you something. Down here in Florida, they were all over this hands-free. We need a hands-free bill. Well, they put the hands-free bill out. A year later, we saw no change in the amount of crashes, the amount of fatalities. It really doesn't help, but it makes lawmakers feel like they're making laws, which is what they think we sent them up there to do. It's real unfortunate when stuff like this happens. There's some really weird language in this bill. It also mentions handheld radios. So your handheld radio, your microphone for your mobile radio would both be off limits while you're driving. The actual language, what it actually says, it doesn't ever mention amateur radio, but without the exemption in there, you would no longer be allowed to do it. The actual language reads like this: any other non-exempt two-way radio user is prohibited from holding a microphone or handy talkie while driving or even stopped at a light or a stop sign. That's unreasonable. Even down here, the texting and driving law in Florida allows you to check your phone and make a quick text while you're at a traffic light. This is, again, an overreach of government. It's not necessary. And what they're doing is this, believe it or not, this bill, the way it's written, would actually not exempt volunteer firefighters. I mean, it's really terrible the way it's written. Let's see here. The reporting of an actual emergency, of course, would always be exempt. But beyond that, you would not be able to use your radio at all while your vehicle is in motion or even running on a public road, even if it's stopped. Even if you're technically just stopped alongside the road, if the vehicle's still running, you're in physical control of the vehicle, you cannot use your amateur radio. This is ridiculous. It absolutely is an overreach of government. All of the FCC Part 90 radio users, utilities users, volunteers, EMS firefighters, GMRS Part 95 users, all affected by this law. Remember, as I said earlier, very few ham radios actually have a hands-free device. So that leaves us with very few options out here. You know, if we allow these kind of laws, these unconstitutional laws that prevent us from communicating with each other while we're driving, you know, I think that you give an inch, you take a mile. You know, the government came out and said, look, we've got to stop people from texting while we're driving. Well, okay, if we really feel we need to do that. But see, you give an inch, you take a mile. Then the very next year, they want to ban all use of phones in cars. Then the next year, they want to ban all the use of two-way radios. This includes CBs. This includes GMRS. This includes all kinds of different radios. There is some exemptions for commercial drivers, including truck drivers and bus drivers. Some would be exempt. And if it is an actual emergency vehicle, you would be exempt. But others would not be. Why is it okay for one guy to drive down the road in a big, huge truck with lights and siren on, talking on his radio? But it's not okay for me to drive down the road in my car and talk on my amateur radio, which I've been doing for years. It really is ridiculous. It's an overreach of government. And what can you do about it? Well, even if you're not a Pennsylvania resident, you can contact the Pennsylvania representatives. But if you are a Pennsylvania resident, I strongly suggest you find the link down here in the description and you go in there and you send your representatives an email and tell them what you feel about this particular bill. Remember, every email on a surface may not seem like it does very much, but when they get 1,000 or 2,000 of these emails that all say about the same thing, trust me, that representative is told this is what's going on. We're getting a lot of emails about this, and a lot of times that's what it takes to get the action that you want out of your representative. They're there to represent you. Okay? And don't allow this overreach of government. We shouldn't never have allowed them to tell us what we could do with our phones in the first place in our car. And now the overreach is incredible. And I don't know where it's going to stop. I really don't. So what a mess. All right, there you go. Another great little issue we have to deal with out here. Pennsylvania, get with your representatives. Everyone else, have a good weekend. See you later. My name is Ian. This is Starship Adventures.